Okay, today we are tying a Jujubaetis. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like fly fishing content, fly tying stuff. But let's get started. So we're gonna start with this hook. It's a TMC 2488 in a size 18. As crazy as it might seem, a size 18 is a large size for this pattern. So the smallest white thread I had was this UTC 70 Denier. If you got something that's 10-aught or 14-aught, go with that instead. So I'm gonna start, for me, I like starting about a third of the way back. This fly, with it being so tiny, it is super easy to crowd the eye of this hook. If you crowd it even a little bit, you're gonna have trouble getting your tippet on. So just keep that in mind. With that, keep this thread nice and flat. So I'm just gonna keep spinning this as much as I can. There. I don't want to go too far down the bend. So the tail, I'm just using some India henback. This is a natural. You can go with a brown. All of that would work. You're gonna go for a larger clump, maybe 15 fibers or so. Make sure those tips are all aligned, and you just rip it off of the feather. And about a half hook shank, maybe a little bit more, is a good tail length. Maybe just a slight bit long. Give it a little pull there. Shorter still. I like that better. All right, let's just keep that thread nice and thin. Keep those tail fibers up on top. Just always be mindful of your tie-in point up here. Don't get too far out. So next we need to make the body. So for the body, it's 2 different colors of this Slinky fiber. So there's gonna be a black and a brown. Now this is where you can make all kinds of color or different patterns. You can have black and red, black and a darker brown. You can go with purple. So everyone knows how great purple is with flies, but you can kind of do whatever you prefer. All the while still being mindful of keeping that thread nice and thin. because this is a very tiny fly. I want to try to keep that as thin as possible. So making sure that our tail doesn't get pulled around with this. Try to keep these first wraps are probably the toughest with this stuff. And so you can see like there, you got a little gap. Stuff actually slides pretty good and seats next to itself. So these first wraps, you can kind of really make sure that it everything seats really nice. Because when it does, this stuff really gives you a very nice segmented body. This fly can be difficult, but the end result is really amazing. Okay, now that we're up here, I don't want this to fall forward, so I'm kind of holding it back there before I trim that out. Some good wraps on it. Now I can trim that out. Again, I used some hackle pliers. These are the ones I got. I do like, probably the best ones for it, for doing something like this, are kind of the cheaper planer style ones. I need to buy some more of those. So now that we're here, it's time to get rid of this white thread. So a quick whip finish. We don't want to build up bulk. Like, this is one of those flies that you really, each thread wrap needs to have a purpose. And I'm probably, well, I know I'm not the best fly tire in the world, so it's definitely a difficult one. I can use that advice as well as anyone. So this is some 10-aught Veevus thread in black. This is gonna tie the rest of our stuff and be the thorax. So still start it a little further back from the hook eye, couple turns, and then we're gonna wrap back to maybe 40% from the hook eye. Again, try to keep everything super thin. This is where we really need to be extra mindful of the bulk. Because like this, I got a great thorax and tail going, and here's where I can really mess it up. So I guess stick around and watch me mess it up. So here's our flash for our wing case. It's just some medium sized, you can do opalescent or pearlescent tinsel. You just want to get that right on top. There we go. Okay. Now for the Fluoro fiber. This stuff just comes on a hank like this. You want about, I got 12 fibers here. I think that's pretty good. It gives you a decent amount of legs on each side. And honestly, this stuff is pretty interesting. It's almost like ultra micro crystal flash in how it looks almost. I got one fiber there that's not even, so I'm gonna trim the tip of that again, because I have exactly what I want. I want to make sure that I get all of them tied in. Pull them back so that they're not in the way there. I might have some fibers there that need to get trimmed. We'll go ahead and trim those. Don't trim your thread. I knew I would probably just about ready to do that. Now, let's see. I could probably use some even smaller scissors. It gets it done. Okay, so now let's make that wing case. So we're gonna pull these fibers. Oh, looks like I need to go back just a tiny bit more on these to get everything lined up back here at the back. There we go. Okay. Still being mindful, not getting too close to that hook eye, because we got a lot of stuff that's coming on. I'm going to be tying down the fluoro fiber, the flash, and then dividing the fluoro fiber for our legs. So I want to be careful. So a little upward hold on this fluoro fiber. Keeps it. One turn down there. Keeps it up on top. Gonna do the same thing. With this flash. Pull that flash back. Take a couple wraps back onto itself. Now should we're still away from that hook eye, so we're doing good. But now we're going to get 6 and 6 as far as these fibers. Okay, that looks like 6 there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so kind of stay on top, keep those there. Do one wrap that way. Grab these other ones and hold them down a little bit. One wrap. There. And now I can come in here and whip finish. Trying to keep all of that stuff back away from that hook eye. Okay, so now I can come in, trim that flash, get these legs, get them just slightly longer than that wing case. Once I trim those, I grab my plunger, hackle pliers, get those right back in there so I can use them for the next fly. There we go. That is looking pretty good. So now we need, here I have some UV Loon Thick. I just like to make sure that I get all the air out of that little nozzle. So I'm just bringing out a bead of resin. And hopefully you can see this. Get this. Just have that bead right on top there. So I'm getting a little blob right there. Looks like that'll work. I'm just going to use my bodkin needle tip really quick just to make sure no resin got in that hook eye. All right. And we'll hit that with the UV light. And there is a Jujubaetis. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.